Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. So today's layout is for Heather Balzer's Daydream YouTube hop, and it's her birthday. So first of all, happy birthday, Heather. I hope you have a wonderful day. We are all using the Daydream collection, and so I really love the rainbow paper, and I also loved the wreath paper. So I decided to join them together, and I love how it turned out. So this is a picture of our little Luli, and which she's the star of many of my scrapbook pages. First, I'm going to use this Paige Evans stencil, and I'm also using some Distress Oxide in Speckled Egg and some Nuvo drops. I think these are Dream drops in the translucent. So what I am doing, and you don't really see me doing it on here, is that I just squish down my ink pad onto my mat, and I added some translucent Dream drops on it and mushed it up with my little spatula, and then I ran it through the stencil. And I had to do it a few times because I didn't want to make a huge batch because I didn't want to waste the Dream drops. So, you know, I was kind of cheap, and that took me even longer to do. So I just want to say thank you for stopping by. If you're coming from one of the other ladies' channels, please consider subscribing. I really would appreciate it. And if you are one of my subscribers, thank you for coming back. And I'm trying out a new camera, so let me know what you think in the description below. I really appreciate it, and you subscribing to my channel really helps my channel grow. And if you'd like notifications for when I have other content, please click on the little bell button below and you will get notifications. So I'm just gonna erase my pencil marks, as you can see here. I had marked off where I was going to keep the where I was going to have the rainbows, so so I wouldn't waste product. And I do go back and add a little bit more of stenciling. So I didn't want to bore you, so I just fast forward, cut out the part where I was cutting the wreath, and I cut the entire wreath, but I cut them into 3 separate swags. I guess that's what you would call them. And I'm just going ahead and inking my edges as best I can. Now, I didn't go in to the wreath, into the swags all the way in and cut out all the white. I just did the free edges. Anything that was on the outer sides of the inside and outside of the wreath is what I fussy cut. It took me a good, I don't know, maybe an hour to fussy cut all of it, but in the end, it was so well worth it. So as you can see, I do end up inking just about everything with the Speckled Egg because it goes so well with this collection that I felt that definitely it was a good choice to use it. I'm also going to ink the edges of my rainbow, and I will be stitching. You will not see me sew on because I'm using my sewing machine, and it's not in an area where I can record from. So it wasn't perfect. There were a few choice words, maybe a few curse words as well, because of course I had to be extra and use gold thread. And since I used the marshmallow paper, I guess the paper was too thick and the thread kept breaking. So that took me way too long to do. But at the end, I was very happy how it turned out. So you're going to see me jump onto where I'm going to start putting this layout together. And I'm just using the minimal amount of adhesive because, like I said, I'm stitching it down, so you really don't need too much glue. And of course, since I'm using my ATG and I'm kind of out of practice, and it's so big and clunky, I put the glue outside of where I really wanted it. So that's where you see me with my eraser, my adhesive eraser, which is awesome. If you don't have one, you can pick one up off of Amazon for under $3. Best thing ever. So I'm just going to adhere everything down just slightly Like I said, since don't really need too much adhesive, and I didn't want to gunk up my my needle. You know, it was a tough decision to cut this paper because the wood in the background is absolutely gorgeous. So here is, but I still did it anyway. And here's where I'm adding a little more stenciling, and I think you'll be able to see what I do. And as you can see, I just add a little bit, mush it up, and the color is perfect, a perfect match to the blue in the paper. So if you haven't tried it and you have both items, definitely worth it. Figured I'd add a little more, and I don't know what I was thinking. I actually added some to the under the rainbow, which was kind of dumb because you don't get to see it anyway. And I did get the back, which that's something you got to be careful with. Make sure you clean the back of your stencil, because I did get some onto, like, it smushed under it, and I did get it on my paper, but luckily because it was wet, I was able to just clean it up with a baby wipe, and then whatever was still stuck, I was able to use my little eraser thing to get it all off. So here I come back, and this is where I stitched, and as you can see, it was definitely not perfect. I'm going to pull my thread through so that it could be in the back, and I think I just show you a little portion of this. I don't think I actually go through the whole thing. And I gather them all together, and then I just use a little bit of washi tape, and then just, you know, to adhere it all so it doesn't unravel itself. And then I just cut it. So yeah, so I have a lot of this extra ribbon because, like I said, it kept breaking on me. So I had to, you know, stitch again, and that's why there are so many, instead of just being one straight line. Also turning the paper when I would get to like one of the curves, especially as I got more into the paper, like deeper, like into towards the middle, that became complicated because that paper is really thick, and it was a little hard to actually turn the paper and continuously sew. So that's why you see that the lines are a little funky, but you end up not seeing it. So I'm actually kind of, I think you only see it on the very first rainbow, but then after that, everything is more or less covered up, so you don't see all the weird lines that I have going on there. All right, so I guess I kept most of this in. And you can use a scissor, you can use, if you have one of these little weeding tools, anything that you can, that'll help pull the thread to the back. I think the bottom, I just folded it over and called it a day. So here's where I'm going to start putting my layout together. I use my fingers to distress the edges of the rainbow. For a couple of areas, I had to use my my weeding tool because I went too close, so it was a little hard to, actually I'm using my scissor here. It was a little hard getting my nail under it, but you can definitely just use your nail, you can use a scissor, and it gave it a little bit more detail and dimension. In some areas where I sewed further away from, it was a little, you know, from the edge, it was a little harder to get it to bend back. See, that part was pretty easy. Right there, I was able to just like, but then this area, I was very close to the edge when I sewed, so it was a little harder. And I didn't want to get a paper cut. I'm a big baby. I don't like having cuts on my fingers. So that's when I pulled out the weeding tool, and that definitely made things a lot quicker. So this paper collection is the Cocoa Vanilla Daydream, and you can find it at my little scrapbook store. I have links below to the shop. It is absolutely gorgeous. They also have the pre-sale for the Christmas collection, which is like, it's absolutely beautiful. They are moving. So my little scrapbook store is currently will not be shipping until sometime in November. So keep that in mind. If you're ordering from them, you will not get your order until November, because they are in the process of moving homes and moving the shop. So here's where I start adding my flowers, and I start gluing certain areas down with wet glue, just so that, and more like towards the middle is where I'm using the wet glue directly down, and then I'm using foam adhesive to pop up the loose, like the ends of them, of the swag, so that they kind of look like they're floating off of the page. For this one, I do end up popping up the center flower and then adding some adhesive and adding more foam and actually popping up the majority of this swag. I don't know what to call it, so I'm going to call it a swag because it kind of reminds me of a floral swag. And yeah, so this is the smaller portion of it. And I did put a little foam adhesive behind it, a fun foam behind it. And I'm just going to lightly adhere that down, and my picture will be next. And I'm just trying to figure out what color I want to use. And I feel like that navy blue really makes it pop up. And I use some teal color, which also matches the paper perfectly. Tissue paper to just give me a little separation, and it looks amazing. And I just kind of tear it off the top, and since I have torn edges on my layout, I had no issues having two edges that were torn. So I'm going to go ahead and back it with this darker blue and feathered paper, and this is from the 6x8 paper pack. And yeah, I think it looks so good. I do distress the edges of the paper. First I inked it, and then, or did I already distress it? I'm not sure. No, I'm distressing it now. I'm just using my fingernail, and I'm just kind of like running my nail over the edge of the paper, and that is more than enough distressing for me. I was very happy with how it turned out. I do have a distressing tool. I just have no clue where I put it. I think it's stuck in the bottom of one of my bags from when I went to a crop in January, and I just haven't gone up to the attic to look for it because I've ripped my room apart and I have not found it. I'm going to add some fun foam to the back of my picture so I could pop that up, and add some wet adhesive. And I do put a block on top of it just to kind of give it a little weight so that the picture holds down and sticks to the paper, because there's a lot of dimension behind the picture. Now I'm going to go through the embellishments, and here's where I start having fun, enjoying myself, placing things down, and I do cut the white off of most of the flowers from the embellishment pack, and I'm trying to figure out what my title's going to be. Yeah, it was definitely a fun layout to create. I really enjoyed it. I was going to add another rainbow, but then I was like, I didn't want to put anything too big. So yeah, so here's where I cut the white off of the, I felt like the white background clashed with all the fussy cutting that I did. So I felt like it needed to be cut out so that it looked cohesive. So our title will end up being Our Little Sweetheart. And sweet came from the ephemera pack, and then Our Little and Heart came from the I think they're like title words pack. not sure what the exact name of it is, but there's a bunch of words on it, and definitely love how the handwriting, it's just beautiful. So as you see, I'm cutting all the whites off of it. I'm going to ink my edges, or at least I think I inked those edges. I'm not even sure at this point. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add a few more hearts and bits that I find in the ephemera pack. Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that blue heart, and I end up bringing it to the other side. I bring that pink one over there, and I'm just going to start scattering stuff around, and some stay on, some don't, and you'll see my process as we keep going. I also end up using a few of the labels, which you'll see me, that one right there says Fantabulous. I will ink the edges to this one, and I will place it up there. I have one that says Beautiful You. This, I was trying to figure out what to do with these hearts, and I wanted to add them because there's a lot of hearts in this ephemera pack and sticker sheet. So now I think is where I'm going to start working on my title. Our Sweet Little You. That was my first title, and then I was like, no, Our Sweet Little Heart. And I was like, no, let's change this up. And this is when I come up with Our Little Sweetheart. And I use this little rainbow sticker at the top of the picture. And then I wanted to use a heart, one of those puffy, I don't know what they are. They're like corduroy maybe. So I use a beige one up there, and I kind of tuck it in. And then that rust colored one I will end up using down at the bottom of my page. I will also put a sticker that says So Sweet over by the left top corner of my picture. And this became a little complicated, remembering to use my, to get everything inked. And a couple of times I actually stuck stuff down and then had to pull it up. And, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's a very busy layout, but I like it. So, and at the end of the day, I guess that's really what matters, right? That you're happy with what you create. I cut that little stem of leaves off just so that I can extend it behind, to the right of the word hour, because it was going to be hidden anyway. So once I nestled my word hour, I just kind of like plopped that in there. And I was just trying to figure out, do I want it under the hour to fill in that corner? And that's what I end up doing. I'm going to pop up this flower, and it's going to go right there in that little corner. This one flower, for whatever reason, I did not fussy cut. I think at this point, I was done fussy cutting. I was like, I'm not fussy cutting nothing else. My hand was cramping up. So I was like, so there's that one random flower that doesn't get fussy cut. You know what? And at the end of the day, it doesn't make it or break it. I'd pop up the blue flower. I'd adhere it right there. I had not added adhesive to the top part of the picture, which I was like, okay, I only did it to the bottom half. And I guess because I was thinking maybe I'd tuck some more stuff behind it. But at this point, my layout is almost done. I'm adhering the bottom half of my title. And I really like how it just nestled right there. And basically I'm going to add some gold splatters and some of the sequins, which I almost forgot about the sequins. And I was like, wait, I didn't put any I didn't put any enamel dots. I didn't do any like extra little like confetti. So this is what I think I had already turned the camera off and then I turned it back on to add the sequins. I'm not 100% sure if I actually added it back in. We'll soon find out. And see, here's where I had already adhered sweet, and then I had to remove it so I can ink the edges. Yeah, so heart is just going to be flat. I do not pop it up, so it kind of nestles under the word sweet. And again, I added the adhesive and then said, oh, I gotta ink the edges. And now these little corduroy hearts, they work great with liquid adhesive, stuck down perfectly. Now I'm going to look for a spot to add this little pink tag that says Beautiful You. And it's going to go right there. And then I'm going to add the sweet to the left of the picture. So sweet. And I think I add one more that says love. Oh, and I also use the little rainbow, I forgot, flare button or flare badge or whatever they're called. And you can't really see it, but you do see it when you're in person, and you'll see it in the still shots at the end of the video. What I haven't used yet are the moths. I have not used, I think, not even one moth on any of my layouts. So hopefully the next layout I'll be a little bit inspired. I was going to use this Oh Happy Day, but I felt like it was too big for the spots that I wanted. And then I found the love one, and it worked perfectly right next to that cream colored or beige colored heart. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere some of the loose hearts that I have on the page, and I'm going to add my Heidi Swapp Color Shine. And we are so close to the end of this video that I am going to just say thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Make sure you stop by all of the lovely ladies that are joining us in this hop. And don't forget to let Heather wish her a happy birthday. She's an awesome lady, very creative. I love watching her channel. And make sure you stay till the end, where you'll see the close-ups to this layout, as well as links to other videos that might interest you. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.